This paralytic man teaches us that we need to surround ourselves with people who want us to be free. We got to understand that there's some folk who have no regard for how miserable you are, as long as you're not doing better than them. You got to realize that there's some people who don't desire you to get any better or to do any better, because if you get better and do better, then you'll be better than they think they are. There's some people around in this world who cares not whether or though you please God or not. They just want you to be at their beck and call. They just want you to do what they want you to do. They just want you to be there when they say, hey, baby, I need you. But when you say, no, the Lord told me to live a holy life, all of a sudden they get mad. You better realize everybody don't want you free. Some people want you to stay just like you are. But will you tell your neighbor, I refuse to be miserable any longer? I'm not going to live through hell and then die and go to hell. I'm going to be free on my way to glory. Is there anybody in here that has said, I've cried enough, I've been in bondage enough, it's time for me to be free? Notice this paralytic man. Notice who this paralytic man surrounds himself with. The text, I'm just going to tell you for the sake of time because I want you to be back. Notice the text says that he had 4 men who surrounded him. And these 4 men cared about him. Would you say they cared? Just because somebody's in your life don't mean that they. Just because somebody gives you a hamburger doesn't mean that they. Just because somebody smiles in your face doesn't mean that they. Just because somebody tell you I love you doesn't mean that they. You better understand everybody don't care. But these 4 men cared about him. Pastor, how do you know that they cared? I know that they cared because check out what happens. When these 4 men hear that the one who can help the condition of their friend is in town, they begin to make plans on how they're going to get him to the place where he can encounter his freedom. They begin to make plans on how they can get him to where Jesus is. And might I suggest to somebody in here, if you have folk around you who are not trying to get you to Jesus, then you really don't have folk around you who cares. Can I tell somebody in here today that if you don't have folk around you who are trying to get you to the place where you can experience deliverance, then you don't have the right people. I'm feeling kind of good right through here. Notice the folk that he has with him. Not only do they begin to make plans, but history tells us that in their plan making, that these 4 men come together and they make a device. In some translations, they call this device a mat. In some, they call it a bed. But they made a device that made it possible for them to be able to carry the weight of their friend. May I suggest to somebody in here today that if you don't have folk around you who are willing to carry you when you're too weak to walk on your own. If you have folk around you who won't carry you to where you can be delivered, that you don't have the right people around you. Check these folk, these 4 men out. I know that they cared. I know without a doubt that they cared. Because after all their planning, after they make the device to carry the paralyzed man to the place where he can be delivered, the unexpected happens. They get there, and it's too many obstacles. There's too many people around for them to get their friend in touch with Jesus. You know, when you have folk who don't care, when they meet obstacles, they leave you where you are. They say, I'll catch you later. Give me a call and let me know if you got in. But the text says that these men did not leave the paralyzed man there. But the text lets us know that they climbed up to the roof. What they did is they carried the man above the obstacles. And when they got on higher ground, they ran into another obstacle. Because when they got above the stuff that was down here causing issues, they get up there and they still can't get to Jesus. But the text says that these men didn't even stop in. How many of you know that once some folk climb with you, they ain't going no further? That's why you got to have folk around you who want to see Jesus.